Hello, students. My name is Sonia Malik, and I'm your coding teacher and mentor. In this lecture, you will be understanding about arrays, which is a linear data structure. You will be understanding various other concepts like declaration and initializations in an array, how it is stored inside the RAM, indexing, types of indexing, and many more crucial concepts, right? Okay, thank you so much. All the best. Hello students, in this lecture we will be studying data structures and algorithm. Like we will be starting data structures and algorithms from this topic onwards, right? Okay, so can you tell like what are data structures? Like data structures are very important as per gaining knowledge and as per clearing interview rounds of companies, right? Tech companies, right? Okay. So data structures are those structures that are used to store the data. Okay. So these are those structures that helps us to store the data. Okay, these structures can be having variety of shapes. They can be having variety of structures, or you can say structures. Like they can be linear and they can be non-linear. I will be explaining you what do I mean by linear and what do I mean by non-linear. Don't worry about that. I'll be explaining about these. Right? Okay. So the first and foremost data structures is known as arrays. Arrays. Array in singular form and arrays in plural form, right? So first data structures that we will be studying is our array. So let me take you to the open board to clear you the concepts about arrays, and then we will be solving couple of questions. Okay, firstly we will be getting deep understanding of the concept of array, and then we will be solving variety of problems from basic to advanced to get a clarity over problem solving in this concept, right? Okay. So I would like to ask you, how do you use to declare a variable and how it is stored inside the RAM? I already told you in the previous videos. You used to do something like that. Int a is equal to 10. Okay. So you used to do something like that. And I already told you that this is your random access memory. This is your RAM, random access memory, which is containing blocks. Let's say blocks. Okay, one second. Okay, so this is containing blocks, right? Okay, so your 10 is stored somewhere at this location. Let us say at somewhere at this location your 10 is stored with some xyz address. This is the address of this 10 where your 10 is stored, right? Okay, now we want to study about arrays and not these variables. We want to study about arrays and not these variables. Firstly, I'll be telling you what are arrays. Okay, what are arrays? Firstly, second, how they are stored inside the RAM. How they are stored inside the RAM, and third thing I'll be telling you about why we require arrays when we are already having the variables. Why we require arrays? Okay, why we require arrays when we already having the variables? Like we already using variables now, then what is the need of array? Okay, so we will be discussing that also. Let me take a fresh page. Okay, so the definition of arrays, let me take you to the editor and write here and then explaining the concept. Okay, array is continuous blocks of memory Storing various data types, various similar data types. Okay, so array is continuous blocks of memory that is storing various similar data types. Okay, or similar data types. Let us erase of this various and similar data types. Okay, continuous block of memory inside your RAM. So let us move to the whiteboard to see like how it is declared or made. Okay, earlier you were declaring int a is equal to 10. Int a is equal to 10. So it is like a single block. This is a block where it is having some address xyz. What is this? This is a block. This is a block, right? Single block or a variable or a variable. Array is the continuous block of memory. Array is continuous. Continuous means one after the other. It means block, block, third block, fourth block, fifth block, and a sixth block. And so on like this. With a particular size. Like here the size is 6 because 6 blocks are there. Okay, so earlier you were taking one block, but here you are taking 6 blocks. These contiguous blocks are called your array. This is the contiguous blocks. Why contiguous? Because the blocks are not having gaps in between. Okay, they are not having gaps. They are interacted with each other. They are stored adjacently. That's why it is an array. Okay, so you know, like continuous blocks is known as your array. This is an array. If I make a rectangle box and I'll partition it, okay, this is a 4 size array. Why it is a 4 size array? Block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. Since there are 4 contiguous blocks, block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. So size is 4 because there are 4 contiguous blocks. 4 continuous blocks. That's why the size is 4. Okay. So this is the structure of your array. How it looks like. How it looks like. A simple variable looks like this, but an array looks like contiguous blocks like this. This is the difference between the structure of a variable and the structure of an array. Right? Here you are storing 10, but here you can store multiple variables. Yes, here you can store multiple variables together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. Variable is used to store just one number, that is 10, or one character, that is C, let us say. We will be coming to this types of array, no worries on that. But array is allowing you to store multiple data values, but of similar types. See, all are integer. This is also an integer. That's why I said contiguous blocks of similar data types. This is an integer array. What this is called? This is called an integer array. Why this is called an integer array? Can anybody tell? Because every element inside it is an array. Not an array. Every element is an integer data type. This is 20s. 30 is also an integer data type. This is also an integer data type. That's why it is called an integer array. Right? An integer array of size 5. Right? We will be coming to declaration, everything. No worries. Every single concept we will be covering. Just bear with me, right? Okay. Okay. So this is how your array is looking like. Contiguous memory blocks with similar data types. I hope the definitions is clear. I hope the definition is clear to you. Your array cannot look like this. That in one block you stored 10. In another block you stored a character C. In another block you stored a name Varun. It cannot be like this. In C++. It cannot be like this. Is this an array? Is this an array? I am asking you this question. Is this an array? Tell me quickly. Is this an array? No. What is the reason why it is not an array? Although they are consecutive blocks, they are consecutive, they are one after the other, they are consecutive blocks of memory, but the data type is not similar. Here it is an integer, here it is a character, here it is a string, here it is a string. So array is always the contiguous memory block but with similar data types, and here the data types is not similar. One is integer, another one is character, another one is string. Okay, so it is not a proper array. It is not a proper array, right? Okay, I hope this thing is clear. I just made you sure. Let me take you to the editor. I just covered this. I just emphasize and focus on this definition, right? Array is contiguous blocks of memory and storing similar data types. Either all should be int. Let me take you to the whiteboard. Okay. Either all should be integer. Either all should be integer like 10, 20, 30. Either all should be character, or all should be character. Suppose O, P, Q. Either all should be float variables 10.5, 3.5, 8.6, 9.8, something like that. Okay, but of similar data type. Here every block is having int, here every block is having character, here every block is having a float. Okay, every block is having a float. So it is a, again I am repeating, it is a contiguous memory blocks with similar type of data. Okay, with similar type of data. Okay, so I have explained you how does the structure of an array appear, looks like. It looks like this: a rectangle with so many partitions, right? Partitions. This is size 4, this is size 4, right? 4 partitions are there. Now I have explained you how an array looks like, what is the structure of array. Now let us move towards the types of arrays. Types of arrays, right? Let us move towards the topic, that is types of array. Types of an array. Let us move towards this topic. Types of an array. Okay, so what is the various types of array? What are the various types of array? Before moving on forward to what are the various types, can you guys tell, is let me use some other color to emphasize it. Can you tell me this question? Think in your mind. Can you tell me, is array a linear data structure, a linear DS, or a non-linear DS? This is the question for you. Or a non-linear DS. It is a linear data structure or a non-linear data structure? Quickly tell me, guys. Quickly think in your minds. But I have not explained you about what is a linear and what is a non-linear. So firstly, let us understand quickly about what is linear data structure and what is non-linear. Okay, so after explaining you what is linear and what is non-linear, I will be asking again from you, if this data type is, if this array is linear or non-linear. Okay, let me quickly explain you about linear and non-linear. Okay, linear. Linear is when it is straight in one line. It is a one liner. It is one dimensional. Okay, like it is one dimensional. It is a row. It is a single row, or it should be like this. It can also be like this, a column like. Okay, it can be also like this. Either in a horizontal manner, either in a horizontal manner, or in a vertical manner, both are linear. Both are linear. A straight line is your linear data structure, right? A linear data structure. While what is non-linear data structure? What is non-linear data structure? Can anybody tell or guess? When it is not a straight line, either horizontal or vertical, but it is something like that. Something like that. A 2D structure, something, a 2D or 3D structure, something like that. It is a matrix, it is a 2D array, something like that. Okay, something like that, something like this structure, like this net like structure. Okay, this net like structure, something like that. This is not linear. The blocks are not linear, they are something like that. The blocks are something like that, covering the round space or something like that. This not a straight, not a straight, not this, not this, right? But something like circular fashion or something like that, means like that, not linear, right? I hope you are clear with the linear and non-linear terminologies. So again, I'm asking you, let me go to the previous page. Let me take the previous page out. And again, let me ask you this question. Now please tell, is your array a linear data structure or a non-linear data structure? How you form an array? You form an array like this. This is the actual structure of an array. So this is, I think this is linear, right? This is linear because it is some horizontal row. It is some horizontal row. That's why it is a linear. Yes. Your array is a linear kind of data structure. Your array is a linear kind of data structure. Okay. Okay. I hope this thing is clear to you if it is a linear or non-linear, right? It is a linear. For sure, it is a linear. Okay. If this thing is clear, let us proceed further for the types of arrays. Let me erase it off. Let me erase it off very quickly. Very quickly. Okay. Let me erase it off very quickly. Let me also erase this off and write it again, right? Okay. Types of an array. Types of an array. Okay. So types of an array. Can you tell like what are the array types? How many types of arrays are there? Then we will be moving in very depth in this concept, right? Firstly, we will discuss the external things, right? Okay. Okay. So what is the like? What are the types of array? Can you tell? Can you tell like what are the types of array? First type is first type is first type is integer array. First type is your integer array, int array. What is this int array? When you are making some contiguous blocks and you are storing integer data types in it like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so the size is 4. In this 4 blocks, 4 contiguous blocks, as you can see, you have stored all integer values, similar data type. That's why it is called an integer array. What is the second data type? Second types of an array. Character array. Character array. What is the character array? When the contiguous blocks store the characters. Suppose this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. What is this? This is size 4 array. What is this array? What is this array? This is character array. This is character array. Why? Because it is storing similar data type. What similar data type? Which one? Character. All are characters. A, B, C, D. Third type is third type is your float array. Float array. Float array. Again, I am making size for array. You can make any size. We will discuss it later. This is size for array and it is storing float values. It is storing float values 1.6, 1.7, 8.9, something like that. So, which type of array it is? It is a float array. Why? Because it is containing float values in it. Its blocks are containing float values. Its blocks are containing float values. What is the fourth type of array? What is the fourth type of array? String array. Yes. String array. String array. You know the string? Our name is a string. Varun, Karan, like that. Let me make it quite bigger because I have to write some name. Okay. Let me make it size of 3, right? This is a 3 size array. Suppose I am writing Varun. Varun with a parenthesis, right? Suppose I am writing Karan. Suppose I am writing, suppose I am writing Sam. Sam, okay? Suppose I am writing Sam. So what type of array is this? Which type of array is this? This is a string array. Why? Because Memory blocks are storing string data type, right? So these are the four types of arrays. There can be double array as well. These are the long array. These are the main arrays, like, okay. So these are the four types of arrays. Okay, let us proceed to the next topic. Let us quickly proceed to the next topic. Let us quickly proceed. Firstly, let us see how this array is stored inside the RAM, random access memory, and then we will study about its syntax. Then we will be studying about its syntax and implementing it in editor, Dev C++, right? Okay. How an array is stored, how an array, let me quickly write it up. How an array is stored inside the RAM. How an array is stored inside the RAM. Inside the RAM. Suppose this is your RAM. This is your random access memory. This is your random access memory. This is your random access memory. Let me quickly make it up. Let me quickly make it up, right? This is your random access memory. This is your random access memory. This is your RAM, right? RAM. How an integer is stored? Can anybody tell? Can anybody think in his or her mind? Like an integer or a variable is stored like this. This is 10, how it is stored. Can anybody tell how a character is stored? How a character is stored? Suppose I have to store C character. So this is how it is stored with some address XYZ, XYL, something like that, okay? Now can anybody tell how an array is stored? Since it is a contiguous memory block, suppose we are storing 4 size array, so we will be taking 4 contiguous blocks in the memory. So we will be taking, let me highlight it up. So we will be taking 4 contiguous blocks in the memory. These red ones are the 4 contiguous blocks where we are storing 10, 20, 30, 40. Suppose this is an integer array. And every block is having its address. Suppose it is having XYZ. Let me hide it up. Suppose it is having some address. Suppose it is also having some address. It is also having some address. Okay. So this is how an array is stored inside the random access memory. Contiguous blocks. If you want to store a 5 size array, how will you do that? Quickly tell me. How will you do that? You will reserve 5 blocks. Contiguous 5 blocks. These are the 5 blocks now. So you will reserve contiguous 5 blocks and stored values inside it. Okay. This is how an array is stored inside the this is how an array is stored inside the RAM. Suppose you want to store 3 size character array. How will you do that? You will reserve 3 memory blocks. 3 memory blocks are reserved automatically when you create an array, and the characters are stored. Suppose it is cap, cap. Okay, cap. It is stored like this. This is a character array. This is a character array. How it is stored inside the RAM. Okay. So contiguous memory blocks are reserved for these arrays. These arrays. I hope this thing is very much clear to you guys, right? Clear to you guys. Okay. Okay. I know, I hope this is clear to you, right? One by one, we will be covering each and everything. And so many concepts are, small concepts are also covered so far, right? So far, okay? Okay. Okay. Now the main topic arrives. Now the very main topics arrive. Let me check if everything is covered. Okay, linear and non-linear. I explained you how it is stored inside the RAM. What is an array actually? Okay, what are the types of array we have covered? Okay, okay, fine. Let me take you to the very important concept, and after that we will be studying about its syntax. You know syntax, how an array is declared. How a variable is declared? Data type, variable name. Suppose this is var and this is value. So this is how a variable is declared, right? This is how a variable is declared. So same kind of syntax we are having for declaring the array. Same kind of syntax we are having for declaring the array. But before that, let me take you to some very important concept. This is very important, right? Then we will study about syntaxes and implementations and all that stuff, right? Okay. Fine. Okay. So it is called as indexing. This is the main concept inside an array, of an array. Indexing of an array. indexing of an array or in an array. Indexing of or in anything. Okay, so indexing of an array, indexing in an array, whatever it is, right? Okay. So from the last some few minutes, I have been telling you how to not declare, actually how to create an array, like how an array is created, how it is looking like, how its structure looks like, right? It's suppose it is 10, 20, 30, and I already told you it is having some address. Suppose it is having 1011, it is having 1015, 4 byte gap, because it is of 4 byte integer, and 1019, and it is 1013, 23, sorry. Okay, so some addressing is there, some addressing. Let's focus on something else that I want to explain you. This is addressing, this is addressing inside the RAM. Okay, this is addressing. Okay, and these are the values stored, these are the values stored. Now what is index? Now what is index? Like okay, like like in your class from nursery to 12th, or college also, we all are given some roll numbers. We all are given some roll calls, roll numbers. My roll number is suppose 31. This is my roll number, right? Okay. Same way, when an array is stored, it is giving some indexing. Its numbers, the numbers that are stored inside it, that is 10, 20, 30, 40, they are given some roll numbers type of thing. Roll calls, roll number kind of things. Okay, they are given something similar, roll number kind of things. What are all these roll numbers? So the roll numbers here start from 0. In computer language, it starts from 0. Also, it can be 1, starting from 1. I'll be discussing that also, types of indexing. But generally, on majority basis, 99%, it starts from 0. 0 based indexing. We call it as 0 based. It means 0 based indexing. Indexing, the indexing that is based on 0, starting from 0. So this first element that you can see, this 10, where I am drawing a red boundary, it is given in index as 0. And I will be also telling you what is the significance of giving this index. What is the significance of giving this index? Don't worry, bear with me for some time, right? I'll be also telling you this thing. Okay, this is given index 1, this is given index 2, and this is given index 3, and if there is some other fifth block also, it is giving index as 4. Okay, so the conclusion is, the first block is given as 0th index, second block is given as 1 index, third block is given as second index, fourth block is given as third index, and so on. Okay, so on. It means nth block is given n minus 1 index when it is 0 based, when it's 0 based, when it starts from 0, because you can see now the flow first block index is 0, that is one block index is 1 minus 1, that is 0, right? Second block index is 2 minus 1, that is 1. Okay, so the block number is greater than the index, or the index is 1 less than the block number. Okay, when index starts from 0, this is not a very much matter of importance. The main thing is what is indexing, right? What is indexing? Okay, it is starting from 0. It is known as 0 based indexing. In most cases it starts from 0, in 99%, right? 0 based indexing. Okay, 0 based indexing. Let me make you clear about types of indexing. Types of indexing. Types of indexing. There are two types of indexing, that is 0 based, 99% used, and 1 based indexing, when we are customizingly, purposely doing that. Otherwise 100% we are using 0 based, but sometimes we have to use for some questions, 1%. For some question we have to use, 1 base also, right? 1 based indexing, right? Okay. Suppose this is an array. Suppose this is an array. This is an array. This is an array. It is storing 10, 20, 30, 40. When it comes to zero based indexing, the roll calling, the roll number giving starts from 0. Okay, it is starting from 0. The first block is given index as 0, second is given index as 1, third is given the second index, and fourth is given the third index, right? Okay, okay, fine. It means first block is given 0th index, second block is given first, third is given second, fourth block is given third index, right? Because the roll number are starting from 0, that's why one less, right? It is called as zero based indexing, which computer automatically does. One is one based indexing. One based indexing. What is this one based indexing? Can anybody guess? Let us create another array of 4 size. This is 10, this is 20, this is 30, this is 40. Okay. So when the indexing starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, this is known as one based indexing. Yes. This is known as one based indexing. This is known as one based indexing. It means the first block is given one index, the second block is also given two index, third block is given three index, fourth block is given four index. It means the block number is equal to the index number. Okay. Okay, see the difference, right? This is not a very much importance to us, like what is the difference, but this we will be following this for 99% of cases. You just fit this thing in your mind that indexing starts from 0. Okay, 0. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, fine. This is all about indexing. Now I will be telling you the significance of this indexing. Then we will be coding it up, everything, like everything that we have covered so far on this open board, we will be coding it up, don't worry. Okay, significance of indexing. Significance of indexing, of array indexing. Significance of array indexing. What is the significance? What is the significance of this array indexing? Let us discuss quickly. Suppose I have given you this. Suppose I have given you this an array 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. So there is some indexing. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. There is some indexing. Suppose I am asking you, call roll number 2. Call roll number 2. Tell me which integer is there, which value is there whose roll number is 2, whose roll number is 2. Which integer is there? Can you tell? Can you tell which integer is there whose roll number is 2? This is 30. Because 30's roll number is 2. 30's roll number is 2. How will you access that element? How will you call or access that element? You will write, suppose this array name is something like ARR. This array name is like, you have variable name, na? Int a is equal to 2. This is variable name. This is variable name. Similarly, this is variable, and similarly, array is also having some name in its declaration. I'll be covering the declaration and definition part just after this topic, right? This is an array. This is a short name. Array name is ARR. Okay. How will you call this roll number 2? You will write ARR, then you will put square braces and write a 2. This is how you will call roll number 2. Writing the array name in which it is present, opening the square braces. Let me highlight it. Opening the square braces, and inside this writing the roll number. Zero based indexing, roll number or index. This is known as index or roll number in traditional language, and index in the technical language, right? This is index. Call it index, not roll number. Just for explaining purpose, I told you. If you want to access means if you want to know what is the value that is present on this roll number or on this index 2, how will you see, like how will you access it? How will you see if what value is present on this second index? You will do something like this. If you will do something like this, see out ARR2, how will you print the integer? How you used to print a variable cout a. Similarly, if you want to print value of an array, because you can see like there are four values inside this array, there are four blocks, so you cannot simply do like this cout arr. Okay, let me take a fresh page. Suppose this is the array declare, suppose this is the variable declaration. How you used to print this value? You used to simply write this cout a. This is how you used to print the value of this 10. But now you are working with some array. You are working with some array which is having some index and some address xyz something like that. Okay, some address. If I'm telling you print the value at index 2, print the value at index 2, what is the value, which is the value at index 2? This is 30. How will you print? Are you writing simply like this? Are you writing simply like this? No, this is wrong. This is correct. This is correct in case of printing a variable, but this is not correct when you print an array, because array is not a single block of element, single block of memory. It is not a single block. It is containing four blocks. So you cannot simply write arr, but you have to write cout left shift arr and the index value that you are printing. Suppose you have to print something which is 10. Sorry, not 10. Suppose you are printing something which is present at index 2. So you are writing arr square braces and 2. This is how you print this value 30. You cannot print one array at a time by simply writing cout arr. You cannot do that. You have to, okay, you have to print block value. The blocks value, there are four blocks now. You have to print blocks value by calling their indices. Okay. Okay. Suppose this is an array. 0, 1, 2, 3 index are there. This is 10, this is 20, this is 30, this is 40. If you want to print this value, how will you print it? Quickly say. You will write, suppose this arr name is arr, this array name is arr. Just say like variable names are there na. Similarly, array names are there. You will write cout arr 0. It means you are calling this value at 0th index. You are calling this value at 0th index. This will print 10 for you. How will you print this 20? You will write cout left shift arr 1 because it is at index 1. This will print 20 for you. How will you print this value 30? You will write cout arr of 2. What it will print? It will print 30 for you. How will you access or print this 40? You will say cout arr of 4 because it is, sorry, 3 because it is lying at third index. It is lying at third index. That's why 3. It will print a 40 for you. This is how you are printing this is how you are printing every element of the array. Okay. Yeah, we will be looping over these elements, but this is how manually to print all the array elements. I'll be also telling you how to use a for loop to print the array element value, but that will be a question. That will be a question, right? Question. Okay. So this is how manually you accessed and printed all the four values of array. I hope you are by now clear with the concept of array. You are by now are clear with the concept of an array. Okay. Let us move to array declaration or definition. How you used to, I will be explaining you everything by comparing it with the variable, right? So that, because I know that you are very much familiar with the concept and syntax of how to declare a variable. So with the reference of this, that how to declare a variable, I will be explaining you about declaring an array with the same way, so that it will be easy for you, right? It will be easy for you. Okay, okay guys, okay. So quickly tell me how you used to declare an variable. Suppose this, how you used to declare a variable. Int a is equal to 10. Int a is equal to 10. This is how you used to declare. Here you used to write a data type. Oh, I initialized also. No, I am not initializing here because it will confuse you, right? I am only declaring. You know now what is the meaning of declaration? Just defining it, not initializing. It means not doing something equal to 10. This is initialization when you provide a value. But we have to just define it, right? Define it. This is how you used to define a variable, where you used to write a data type, variable name, variable name, and a semicolon to show array has ended. Sorry, this statement has ended. This statement has ended. Okay. You know, like there is another way where you can declare the variable and initialize it in the same line instead of doing like this. Int a is equal to int a and then a is equal to 10. To, you're doing like you're defining in one line and you're initializing it in another line. But you can do like this. You know, like what is this? You are simultaneously defining it and initializing it, right? You can do this way instead of writing in two lines. Okay, this is a crisp way of doing this. Now this is how to declare a variable. Similar way how you can define and declare and initialize an array. Firstly, write the data type, write the data type, write the array name, like you used to write variable name na, then equal to, no equal to, you have to also declare one thing is there, you have to declare size. You know that variable is only of one size, so there was no need, you simply used to write int a is equal to 10. But here you have to declare, before putting directly this equal to, you have declare a size, like how many blocks you want to reserve, how many contiguous blocks of memory you want. So for that, what will you do? Anybody is having any idea? You will put a square braces and inside it write the size. Suppose I want to create an array of 5 size. So I'm writing a 5, right? Let me highlight it with some yellow color. This is 5, okay? So I used square braces and inside that square braces I have written the size of array that I want to declare. Okay, what is the data type? Suppose I am creating integer array. This is int. What is the array name? Suppose it is ARR. This is 5 size. Okay, semicolon. This is how I defined only, not initialized, defined, right? Okay, defined. If you want to initialize it also, if you want to initialize this array, you can do simply like this, equal to open curly braces and write 5 elements with a comma, okay? Write 5 elements with a comma in between. Why write 5 elements only? Because you have declared the 5 size. You cannot write, yeah, you can write 3 elements. Although you have reserved the size for 5 elements, 5 contiguous block by mentioning size is 5, but you can only put 3 values. Not a issue, not an issue. But I will come to this point later, afterwards. After some 2 to 3 minutes, I'll be coming to this concept also, right? So declare 10 elements. Write 10 elements. You will not put this underscore. This is just to show you, right? This is just to show you. This is just to show you 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50. This is how you declared and initialized an array, both things in one line, both things in one line. Again I'm saying, how will you write an array? How will you declare and initialize? Int ARR, square braces, size equal to open curly braces, put a semicolon because this line has ended, then write 5 variables, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, any value, any random value, 78, 63, whatever you want to write, right? This is just to show demonstration, right? Okay, by this you have declared it, and by doing this, putting equal something on the right side of this equal to, something on the right side of this equal to, you have initialized it. Initialized it. Like by doing this, what happens? In your RAM, by doing this, in your RAM, suppose this is random access memory, in your RAM, five contiguous blocks are reserved. Five contiguous blocks are reserved inside your RAM, and a value 10, 20, 30 are stored with some address and indexing. This indexing is just we are assuming, okay? Otherwise the memory blocks are storing the values only with some address. This is the editor part. We are assuming this. If you're thinking, like it seems like that on the top row is containing this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 index, but it is not true. This is just I have written to show you that this is their index, like I am writing simply here also. Okay. Okay, I hope it is fine, the declaration and initialization of this array. I am really hoping that this is fine for you, right? This is fine for you. Is this clear to you? Is this thing clear to you? Till now, types of array, what is array, linear, non-linear array, what is indexing, what are the types of indexing, how it is stored inside RAM, what is the declaration, how is the size given, right? Okay, something like that. Okay, okay, fine. And and let us move to another concept. If you have declared some array of size 5 now, you cannot write 6 integers here: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. This is wrong, because you have just reserved, let me write this hard coded term, reserved. You have just reserved space for 5 contiguous blocks, and you are initializing it with 6 numbers. This is completely wrong. This is completely wrong. This is static allocation. It means the size is mentioned. The size is predefined. It is pre-known. It is known already. The size is predefined. It is static allocation. You have hard coded this size 5. You cannot increase the element at the runtime. Okay, you cannot do that. If you have mentioned 5, it means 5 elements should be there inside this array. 5 contiguous blocks are there, should be there, not 6 or 7, more than 5. Okay, if you have written an array something like this 5, then there cannot be more than 5. More than 5 cannot be there. More than 5 integers cannot occupy this array. Okay, less than 5 can occupy. Yes, less than 5 can occupy. Less than 5 can occupy, but more than 5 elements cannot come. More than 5 cannot come. Equal to 5 can come. Equal to 5 elements can come, because size is 5. But more than the capacity, this array's capacity is storing just to store 5 elements. You cannot fill this. If a bucket is full, if this is a bucket and it is full up to its brim, you cannot pour more water from the tap. This is a tap, more water, right? So that's its size is 5. You cannot store 6 or 7 or more elements. You can store less elements. But not more, right? And there is some kind of data structure that will be coming into the picture in the later part of the in the upcoming sessions, where you can store unlimited elements. Like unlimited means many elements, like many elements beyond the capacity somewhere, like, okay, like not only 5. If you mention size 5, it is not like 5 only. Okay, you can store n number of elements, and any number of elements in that data structure is welcoming in nature. It is telling you, hey, give me more elements, I am ready to take all those elements. I am very dynamic in nature. I am very diverse and dynamic. I am not very fixed that my size is 5, that I'll only take 5 elements, right? So its name is vector. That is kind of array, but it's the difference is only that it is more welcoming. It takes more elements than its storage, right? But array is strictly taking 5 elements. Array strictly take these 5 elements, but this is always welcoming to accept more and more elements. That is the difference. We will be discussing it in the upcoming session, right? Firstly, let us discuss about the array only, right? Okay, so I told you one thing, that this size 5 can store less than 5 elements, equal to 5 elements, but it cannot store more than 5 elements. What do I mean by this? Okay, so what do I mean by saying it can store less than 5 elements? Suppose if there is some array int arr whose size is 5, I have mentioned, but I am storing 10 comma 20 comma 30. I am just storing these three elements with index 0 1 and 2, with some address. I have created 5 contiguous blocks by declaring its size as 5, whose index should be 0 1 2 3 4, right? 0 1 2 3 4. But it is storing only 3 elements. What about these two memory blocks? Who will be getting stored here? Who will be getting stored here? Zeros will be getting stored here. Zeros. Okay, in these left out memory blocks, the extra memory blocks that you have not given any, that you have not filled any integer here, like you have not filled any integer in this index 3 and 4, then automatically zeros will be filled. If there are 5 size and you have just given you have just filled 2 blocks of memory, 2 blocks, then zeros will be there in the rest 3 blocks. By default, it is automatic. By default, zeros will be getting filled, right? In the places which are left, which are unoccupied. Okay. So this is a solution for this less than 5. So now if you will access this third index now, it will give you 0, because there is no number at index 3. Automatically a 0 is getting stored because you have not given anything. You know, like what I'm saying? Suppose you have declared an array of size 5. This is an array of size 5 where you have given just 2 elements. And you are accessing the elements at index number 3. Now you will be seeing that, okay, I have just given 2 elements and I have declared a size 5. Zeros will be getting stored here. So this will give you a 0. I told you, by default zeros will be getting stored. By default zeros will be getting stored. Okay. Zeros will be getting stored by default. So it will give you a 0. What you will get on doing this you will get 20, because index 1 is having its proper value, defined value. So it will not be a 0, but it will be 20 only, because you have given some value here. Okay, at index number 1. And at index number 0, 10 will be printed because you have given a proper value. Zeros will be stored at those locations where you have not given any integer. You have not completed, you have not filled the entire size 5. You have declared size 5 but filled with 2 elements. Then these last three will be unoccupied. So in place of these unoccupied, zeros will be getting stored, right? I am hoping that this concept is also very much clear to you. Back to back, I have explained you so many things about array. Now I am hoping that this thing is very much clear to you. Okay. Okay. So I am hoping that this thing is clear to you. Fine. Now we will be coding it up in 5 minutes. One or two concepts are left. After that, we will be coding up everything simultaneously that I have explained you so far. No worries on that. Completely no worries on that. You have some alternate declaration of some array. Alternative declaration of an array. Alternative declaration of an array. What do you mean by alternative declaration of an array? What do you mean by this line, alternative declaration? It means one way to declare an array like this, by mentioning its size and giving some elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is the one way, right? Another way to declare an array is something like that. Something like that. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is the second way of declaring an array. What is the difference between these two patterns? What is the diff between these two declaration? This declaration and this declaration. What is the difference between these two declaration? Think in your mind. Here I have mentioned the size 5. Here I am not mentioning anything. but this will not be wrong. This is also accepted, this is also accepted. Okay, in this case number 2, suppose this is case number 1, this is case number 2. Let me erase this question mark. Okay, now fine. Oops, now fine. Okay, okay, in this case number 2, compiler will automatically calculate the size of your array. Calculate size of your array based on number of elements. Yes, based on number of elements. Okay, here you have defined the size as 5 and stored 5 elements, which is good, appreciable, completely appreciable. Here you have not given any size is not mentioned. Then compiler will automatically calculate this size. Compiler will automatically see, okay, this student has mentioned, this coder has given 5 elements, it means its size should be 5. Its size should be 5. It will compiler will automatically calculate this. Okay, and there is some other way. Let me erase it off. And there is some other way. Although the compiler will automatically calculate the size of this array for this second declaration, the compiler will automatically calculate this array, but there is some manual method of calculating this array when it is not mentioned. Okay, see, this is not mentioned now. See, this is not mentioned now. So there is some automatic. There is some manual method. There is some manual method to declare the size of this array. How? Tell me quickly, guys. How? Think in your minds. How? How? By writing something like this. Size of. There is no space in between size of. This is an inbuilt function. Size of square round parenthesis ARR is the variable name, divided by size of, this is intact, size of, this is one word only, ARR, this is again array name, 0, open square braces and write the 0th index element. This is the, you have to learn this formula. This is the formula of calculating size when it is not given. This is the formula of calculating size. What is this? Tell me quickly. Think in your minds. Size of ARR divided by size of round parenthesis ARR 0. This 0 is the 0th index element. This is the formula. There is no proper explanation behind this, although, but I think the ARR 0 means size of one block, that is 1, that is something 4. Size of 5, okay, size of, okay, this is a, no, this is actually, no, there is no proper explanation behind this, like why this formula. Just learn it and see that there is some inbuilt function used. This is size of. This size of function automatically calculates the size for you. Okay, it automatically calculates the size of this ARR for you, right? Okay, fine. Let me erase it off. Or undo. Let me take a new page. Okay, so that we can summarize at the end like what we have covered. So taking fresh page, not deleting it, right? Now there is some few topics are left. After that, explaining of those topics, I'll be coding everything up. Give me 5 more minutes, right? And then we will be winding up the session and doing very good questions in the next section with some topics explanation in the first part, right? Okay, cool. There is something which is called as universal initialization. Something which is called as, this is wrong. The spelling went wrong in the flow. There is something which is called as universal initialization of array. I hope the writing is improving day by day on writing with open board, right? Universal initialization of some array, of an array. Why it is called as universal initialization? Because this technique of initializing the array is universally accepted. Everybody is using it in this entire universe somehow, right? Universally accepted. That's why it is the universal like initialization. Okay. What is this? Like you used to write array like this now. Let me take some other color. Otherwise, this universally accepted will sync with this. Uh, let me take green and yellow appear same. Let me take white. White I'm using less. Let me put it to use. Okay. Earlier you used to do something like this. Int ARR 5 equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is what you used to do like this. This is what I have explained you. This is what I have explained you, right? You can also do something like this. Int ARR 5, don't put this equal to sign. This is another way. Simply erase, or not erase, simply don't put this equal to sign in the second declaration. Do simply like this. This is another method of initialization. This is known as universal declaration of the array, universal initialization, because you're initializing. What is the difference between these two? This is, I already taught you, this is universal initialization. The difference is that in this there is a equal to sign, in this there is no equal to sign. There is no equal to sign. As you can see, this is empty. This portion is empty. There is no equal to sign. Okay. Just okay. Okay. Let me erase this part of to again write. Okay. This is the declaration that I explained you. This is the declaration that I explained you. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 when size is mentioned. When size is mentioned. This is the declaration that I told you. What is the universally accepted declaration? Just trim down or just remove this equal to sign. This is the universal declaration. When size is mentioned. When size is mentioned. What is another way of declaring the array without mentioning size? This was the another method of declaring the array without mentioning its size. What is the universal way of writing this without mentioning the sign? Just remove this equal to sign. This is the universally adopted method. These two are the universally adopted method for declaring an array. Initializing an array, sorry, because you have already mentioned the numbers, right? Right? Okay. So these are the two methods of, what are these two methods? What are these two methods? These are the two methods, universally accepted method of declaring and initializing an array, right? Okay. Okay. So a short concept, and after that we will be summarizing the things and coding it up, right? Short topic. There are different operations in an array. Different operations in an array. There are different operations in an array or with an array or of an array, whatever it is, right? Whatever proposition it is. Okay, there are different operations. First is accessing of elements, Next is traversal in an array. You know, like what is traversal? Traversal means it is a technical term to roam inside some data structure. Like you used to travel from one place to another, whether you're going to your college, school, you are going on a trip with your family to Delhi, to Mumbai, right? So traversal is traveling inside the data structures. You are traveling inside the city or a state or a country, but here it is called as traversal when you travel inside the data structure. Okay, this is traversal. Then is insertion. Insertion, it means how to insert an element inside an array. And the fourth one is deletion, right? Deletion in an array. Suppose you want to delete an array from an element from an array, right? This we will be covering in the next session. This we will be covering in the next session. This we will be covering in the next session, right? Okay. This I have already explained you. This I have already explained you. How to access? Write the array name, put square parenthesis and write the index number. Suppose index 1. Okay, this is a simple way of accessing an element inside the array. Okay, an element inside the array. There is one more operation, that is searching in an array. Searching in an array. We will be discussing in the next session these four operations, right? Okay, then we will be moving on to some basic to advanced questions, very awesome questions. You will be getting very clarity over all those concepts that I have taught you. And in the next session we will also be covering about advantages and disadvantages of array, disadvantages and applications of array, where it is used. Since it is a linear and the most basic data type na, data structure na, so it is used in many, even for declaring high level data structures like trees, graphs, for implementing those, for implementing stacks, queues will be for, like this array is a linear, it is used for implementing of some non-linear, typical complex non-linear data structures, right? Okay, so let me take some pages. Let me take you to the first like from where we started. Okay, let me summarize something for you. Let me summarize the today's concept for you, right? Let me summarize today's concept for you, and then we will be coding everything up. I think this is, yeah, this is where I started from, right? This is where I started from. So let me summarize this for you, and then we will be coding it up and winding up the session, right? Okay. So firstly, how to declare a variable, how to declare an array. Sorry, these three things. What are arrays? How arrays are stored, and why we require arrays. Yeah, yeah. I forgot to cover this part. Why we require arrays? Let us cover this. Let us cover this. But before, so we have explained, like I have explained you this thing also. We have covered so many things. We have covered this thing also, character array, float array, and integer array, right? We have covered this thing also. I don't know what is this. Okay, this is different types of array we have covered. This is how an array is stored inside the RAM we have covered. This is how, this is about indexing of an array. This is the types of indexing we have covered, right? Types of indexing, significance of array indexing. This is how to access an array element, right? This is, we have studied about accessing different elements inside the array. This is declaration definition. This is initialization. And universal, like while what if the array size is 5 and you have given less elements. This is alternative declaration, right? This is alternative declaration without an without mentioning the size. This is different operations. Okay, one thing is left, one thing is left, just one thing is left. The main and the most important question, why we require arrays? Why we require arrays? This is the most important question and we forgot to discuss it. Oops. Okay, but no worries. We will be discussing it now. Okay, this is very short topic of 2 to 3 minutes. Let us discuss it quickly. Why we require arrays? Can anybody tell why we require arrays? Can anybody cover it up? Think in your mind. Think in your mind. Why we require arrays? Suppose I'm telling you, give me any 10 roll numbers of students. Any 10 roll numbers of students. Give me any 10 roll numbers of students. I'm asking the monitor of the class to give me roll numbers of any 10 students. You know the, like what the monitor will do? What the monitor will do? Can anybody tell? The monitor will make 10 variables. It will declare 10 variables. It will declare 10 variables like this: int A, int B, int C, int D, int E, int F. How many there? 6, no? Okay. Int F, A, B, C, D, E, F, I, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, right? Okay. So the monitor will make 10 variables and give 10 roll numbers. Roll number 1, 2, 43, random roll numbers, random roll numbers. Oh, I have written 2 in one variable. Any random variable, 31, 36, 26, 30, 5, 7, 14, no 14, 7, I don't like this 14, so that's why. 15, 18, 21. Okay, so the monitor will give 10 variables. 10 variables storing in, like 10 roll numbers it will give to the teacher, storing using 10 variables to store it. So using 10 variables to store it. Is this an efficient way? This is not an efficient way. The teacher will say, monitor, this is like I can't like I'm not expecting this thing from you, like you will be doing so much of lengthy work, giving maintain, this is also very difficult for me to maintain the record. Come on, use some efficient way. Then the monitor will be very will become sad and ask the students, like anybody of you know how to efficiently write, give the roll number, 10 random roll numbers to the teacher in some efficient way. The teacher scolded me for making these 10 variables because it increased the complexity. I will also tell you about what is complexity, time and space, everything like that in the upcoming sessions. No worries. So teacher will, like the monitor will say that teacher has scolded me that I have maintained these 10 variables for the 10 random roll numbers. So the one smart student will stand up and say, hey monitor, why you're not using an array? Just declare an array of size 10 because the teacher has asked to give the 10 students roll numbers. Just make 10 blocks, just declare an array of size 10 and give the roll numbers here. These are the index. What were those roll numbers? What were those random roll numbers? 7, 15, 21, 48, 35, 32, 36, 1, 2, 3. Now the monitor will say thank you, and the monitor will take this array to the teacher. The teacher will appreciate him. Oh, now you have used some efficient way of storing these. So instead of using 10 variables, you can use an array of size 10. Those were the 10 variables. That's why maybe you will not feel that much importance of this array. But what about if I'm asking you 1,000 students roll numbers? You will not be making 1,000 variables for that. It will be very tedious task, very manual, very frustrating, tedious task. You will not make 1,000 variables, but you will declare an array of size 1,000 and smartly store these 10, 20, 1, 5, so on up to 1,000 variables here. Okay, so this is like that. Okay, that's why you use integer array. One more simple example of why using these array, why using array over variables or something like that. Suppose I'm asking you, give me 10 students names, give me 500 students names, not 10, 500 students name. Now what the monitor will do again, it will make 500 string variables, string a, string b, so on up to string c, string 500th alphabet, something like that, some alphabet. Okay, 500 string variables he will make, 500 string declarations he will do, 500. But we don't want that. This is not an efficient way. So what I have to do, I have to make a string array, string arr of size 500 and write the names inside this. Varun, next name is Karan, then so on up to 500 names. This is an efficient approach. Okay, so that's why we use arrays instead of variables. Variables have their own value. They are also very precious, but this is an array. When multiple things are asked about, like multiple roll numbers are asked, multiple names are asked, then you can store it and give it in array instead of variables, right? Instead of keeping so many variables. Okay, so let us move to the editor. Let us move quickly. Let us move to the editor to show you the implementation. Oh, what we have learned. We have learned today more of a concept thing. Like we have learned so many concept and just one practical part, that is declaration. Write the data type int, write the array name, declare the size 5, give 5 numbers like 1 2 3 4 5. This is I wrote now on the open board. Okay. Okay, now how will you access? Suppose let us say I want to print the array element at index number 2. What it will print? It will print 3. Let us see if it is printing the same or not. The expected value is equal to the actual output or not. Oh, it is taking time in running. No worries. Oh, it is taking a lot of time in running. Oh, it is giving us 3. See the editor. See the editor. It is giving us 3. Okay, because this was the index 0, this was index 1, this was 2, this was 3, this was 4. So we have our second index element. That means it is giving us 3, right? It is giving us 3. It is giving us 3. Okay, cool. So let us give size 5 and let us take only 3 elements. Let us see what it will give when I ask it index 3. Let us see what it will give. Ooh, see, it is giving 0. I told you now on the whiteboard that when the size is 5, size is more and the number of elements provided is less, then it will store 0. So by default it has stored some as 0. You are not seeing it, like you are not able to see it, but it is storing 0 here, right? So it is giving 0. Suppose this is 5 and I am initializing it with more elements, more than 5. Suppose 7 elements. Let us see like if it will run or not. Ooh, it is giving us some error. It is saying too many initializers for this. Too many sorry. Too many initializers for this int 5. It means you have declared a size 5, but you are giving so many initializers. The value is called initializer. These values. Too many. So delete those 2 extra that you have provided smartly and cleverly. Okay. Okay. Is anything left? I think this is all. This is the practical part. This is the practical part that I wanted to discuss. Today we have covered more of the concept part rather than the practical part. But in the upcoming session we will be solving n number of questions. I'll make sure to get to provide you a good grip over problem solving array questions, right? Okay. Some few concept topics are left, like the operations in array, advantages, application, disadvantages, and then after that we will be covering a lot of questions, practical questions, right? Suppose I have to make an character array, so I am writing arr, again declaring the size, not declaring, suppose this time I am not declaring the size, and giving some characters. Suppose I am giving some a, you know that characters are written in the inside the single parenthesis. B, let me take you to the editor to explain this part. When you are declaring some variable now, when you're declaring some character, it is always written inside this single parenthesis, single marks. This is a. But when you are declaring a string now, suppose your name is Varun, so Varun should be written inside this. Okay. C++ is very case sensitive about that, right? Okay. A, B, C. Suppose that this is last. Now I have not declared the size. Right? The compiler will automatically calculate it. If I am printing ARR 2, it will give us something like C, because second index element is C. See, it is giving us C. Suppose I'm accessing ARR 3, which is not there. Let us see what will happen. Oh, it is not giving us anything. Why? Because there is nothing at index number 3. Suppose we are giving size 3 and then we are accessing this ARR 3. Let us see what will happen. Again, it is not giving us anything because there is nothing at index number 3. We are having just index number up to index number 2. This is index 1, index 2, right? We are having just like this. Oh, this is index 2. Okay. And what is the automatic procedure? What is the automatic formula to calculate the size if it is not given? Should I show you this? Yes, okay. So it is int n, suppose I am storing the size in some variable n, is equal to size of ARR divided by size of ARR0. This is already, this is I have shown you now on the whiteboard. Let us print this and see what it will give. See out and let us see what it will give. Let us see what it will give. Woo, it is giving us 3. The compiler has, if this formula was not given, no, the compiler will automatically calculate it, but we have manually calculated it. Okay, it is giving us 3 because three characters are there, right? So this is the practical part for today. I hope you have enjoyed this session. We enjoyed this session. We have discussed a lot many things in today's session. We have discussed a lot, and this is the end of the session. I wish you all the very best. All the very best. I hope you have got some clear understanding about multiple concepts of array. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in, and have a nice day. Bye bye. Thank you.